We are joined here by Sam Seif and his father, Doug. And Sam, you were in the school in Parkland when that shooting happened. Walk me through. I mean, what was that experience like for you?
We sort of just, we had trained for it weeks before. And even with the training, it still kind of just felt like we were waiting for our lives to be ended. And it's still surreal to think that I could have been in one of those classrooms, or my little brother could have been in one of those classrooms, or more people that were as close to me as Joaquin could have been in those classrooms.
And your brother was in the school as well, Matthew, and you all were texting. Talk about those text messages and what was that like to know that there was a shooter in your school and you're communicating with your brother?
It was surreal to think that I was having probably my last conversation with my brother. And he's still a kid, he's 14 years old. And he went through way worse than I did, and I wish I could sort of take that off his back. But he watched his teacher get killed, saving him, and he had to step over 10-something bodies on the way out. You can't unsee anything.
And I know I feel like not even how do you even describe how you're doing, or it's been so fresh. It's only been a few weeks, so I mean, how are you doing at this point?
Everything is a fight, really. This is a fight. Waking up and going to school is a fight. Every single day without Joaquin is a fight. It's all a fight, and we're fighting for a better America, safer America.
And what do you make of all of this today?
I'm not surprised, because it's an important movement, and what we have done from Parkland is we've brought realization to a lot of people, and they know that they messed up. The generation messed up, and we're going to be the ones to fix it.
And Dad, Doug Seif, when did you first hear what was going on in the school?
I was in Rio on a business trip. I had just landed that morning, and I was walking back to my hotel from lunch, and I didn't get a text from my wife, which I normally would, and I called her, and she said, "There's a shooter at the school, I'll call you back." And I said, "No way, it's not possible." And then the rest of everything that occurred after that was just really surreal. You can't. It's so hard to even process. Really hard to process that this could be going on. And I have feelings for so many different things on this level. But even my wife, standing on the corner opposite the school, surrounded by 300 first responders, wondering if 2 of her children were alive or dead, I can't imagine the terror that she was going through in that moment. And I'm one of those people that tries to put myself in other people's shoes, and I just couldn't fathom it. It was near impossible to fathom.
What was your reaction when you found out your boys were alive?
Well, I was more than relieved, obviously, and then my immediate thoughts went to the families of the deceased and how many had been deceased at that point. I was on my way to the airport to fly home. I get home, first thing I do is I go look in my kids' bedrooms and see them in the bed. And honestly, you're looking at those beds and possibly thinking that they might be empty. It's something that's it's beyond comprehension. I can't even think about it now.
And now that you all have really been thrust into the conversation of change and gun control, what is it that you want to see from Congress?
Well, we need assault weapons banned, and we need high-capacity magazines banned. And the way that's going to get done is that these kids are going to get people to vote, real people to vote. Sam turned 18 the morning that he found out Joaquin had been killed. And these kids need to get out and vote, and we need to vote people out who are not going to look. There's no gray area in this battle. You're either on one side of this issue or the other, and if you're on the wrong side of this issue, you're out. You're out. These kids are going to make it happen.
And I know you guys have to get back to the stage, but there were text messages between you and your brother. You said you're the best brother. What was it like to find out that he had survived, you had survived, and you guys were able to embrace? Talk about that moment.
I mean, it was the most relief I'd ever felt in my life, to have to share those texts and not know if I was going to see him again. It was heartbreaking, and I felt so helpless. I couldn't do anything, and this is sort of my way of doing something now for mainly Joaquin, but also mainly my little brothers that still have to go to school.
Well, I really appreciate you guys sharing your story. I know you guys have to get to the stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, again, that was Parkland shooting survivor Sam Zeif and his father, Doug. You heard them share their story of survival. Sam was inside the school with his brother Matthew. The texts are incredible. They were texting back and forth. I love you. You're the best brother. And it is just really hard to imagine that such young people had to go through this. But of course, you heard their dad that it is time for Congress to take some action. And they say that if Congress doesn't take action, then it's time for those young people, all those people here behind, to step up and basically vote them out. So again, they just shared their story. You just heard from them. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right.